It is Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. This week, we're going to highlight a bunch of the fans. We watched Animal Kingdom, Inside by Bo Burnham, and even read some comics. And for the meat, we recap, review, and rate the first episode of the MCU series, Loki. All this and so much more. We got the Giggler, PC mic, new camera angles here in the studio. It's mostly superheroes. Hello and welcome to Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live action superhero stuff. I'm your host, Logan. Hello, PC Mike. Hello, Giggler. Welcome back. PC Mike, we're going to start with you since we didn't see you in last week's episode. We got to catch up. How you doing? How you been?
I'm great and giddy for this episode with Loki, all the things happening. Man, it's exciting. It's exciting. I have some hot takes, and usually my hot takes are kind of negative towards Marvel. These might surprise you.
Oh, man, I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on the show. I can't wait to talk about this show. It is the meat for today for sure. It's going to be a theme throughout the whole episode. Giggler, how excited are you to talk about it? You were just here 2 days ago.
Like I said earlier in the squad in Facebook, we've been waiting for this for months. And how good does it feel when something like that's finally here? It was like,
at this point, it's almost years.
Yeah. It almost felt like I was in a theater because I watched it on my brand new TV I got this week.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, humble brag.
Nice. Very excited. Yeah.
Did you use that Best Buy discount?
I should maybe. Yep.
And it looked pretty good. Probably watched it in 4K.
Yeah. We got a little sound bar to go with it. I was very pleased, and I'm very pleased with the episode after watching it. I can't wait to watch it again for sure.
Yeah, not too bad. I actually noticed. I mentioned we got the new camera angles. We're in the studio. How you guys feeling? Good. It's like more like spread out.
I can see both of you.
Yeah, it feels
great.
good.
I got one eye on each of you at all times.
Yeah, it's like a Mexican standoff. Like
From the office.
Yeah.
Or the Spider-Man meme.
Or the Spider-Man meme. Yeah, you can actually move. You guys got your own shots now.
Feels good.
You're basically just regular old celebrities now.
Cool.
And he can start scrolling with all his notes. He doesn't have to bring the small notepad.
Well, you'll notice that every week he'd be like, hey, you got a pen? And I put, you got a cup of pens, you have your paper.
I just try not to put it in my mouth. Like I have a weird pen chewing thing. So
well, if you do that, just keep the pen.
That's why I've been putting it in a special spot.
You know what I need to do is one of those pandemic one of those things that came out of the pandemic, like clean and dirty.
Yeah.
You go to sign something at the bank. They're like, these are the dirty pens.
Sorry. If you run out of pens, you might have a pendemic.
Oh, pretty good. That's pretty good. We got to end it on a pun. Let's go ahead and move into our fans and highlight you all. Fan mail. We got some great stuff in fan mail today. We're all over the place. Just a reminder, we do have a studio phone. It's 754-CALL-LOG. So that's 754-225-5564. I'm just going to spoil it for you guys right now. We got 2 voicemails to play today. Same person. They're going to be mixed in. They're coming up soon. Don't worry. But fan, listener, if you want to be featured on What You Watching or on the meet, or if you just want to call and say, hey, you call that number, let us know. But first, we're going to highlight some folks from actually our YouTube channel. I haven't highlighted a lot of YouTube comments. I've seen the subscribers going up. We got more people watching the video. It's awesome. This one actually comes from our episode 22 where we talked about Captain Marvel. His name is, or her name, not sure. It's Beat ADM on YouTube. And they had some comments on our thoughts on Captain Marvel. So we did a full review of this. We talked about how we felt about it. This is what Beat ADM had to say. You have this Kree part of her being Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson, that's unemotional. That's an amazing fighter and competitive. Then there's this human side of her that is flawed, but also the thing that she ends up leading by. It's the thing that gets her in trouble, but it's also the thing that makes her great. And those two sides wearing against each other is what makes her her.
Nice little insight on that.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Very deep. And we've talked about how Captain Marvel, it's a kind of a mixed bag feeling, and you don't know if it's like a Brie Larson problem. This actually lends me more to like what I was saying when we reviewed it. This is her very own character, and I've never even heard it broken down this way, so I got to give it up for BADM. Totally respect the insight there. I think I can totally see it. It makes sense to me. Like, you got this Kree side because she has 6 years of Kree life, but she has like these soft memories of her human life that just keep trying to like break through. So you just have those two clashes. Very cool. Appreciate that on YouTube. You can always comment and get featured just like that. Moving on to Instagram, PC Mike brought up a couple weeks ago. Now at this point, or actually might have just been last week, Eastbound and Down. You restarted this thing. You're watching it again. It's so much fun. We put it out on our Instagram, of course. You can follow us at Mostly Superheroes. And had to highlight a comment from Dustin Lee Massey that is very straight and to the point. Kenny effing Powers.
Finish season 1. It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, I thought
it's not like a big accomplishment.
Yeah, but still, I thought it was good way to bring this back into the fold. You're still watching it. Season 1 was a lot of fun.
Season 1 is awesome. I know from my first watch a long time ago, it kind of falls off a little bit, but season 1 holds up. If you want something quick, easy, nostalgia, the lines in there, let the boy watch, like Ashley Schaefer and all that, man, it's good. It is good, and there's quotes for days. His GIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to call them, when you're doing iPhone stuff, are legendary. Like, awesome.
I think they're GIFs.
Well, however you want to.
I go the same way.
If you're in a group chat.
Let's just go with GIFs.
We'll go with GIFs.
Because it's graphic info something.
I know, but people call them, like, the real saying is GIFs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What do you think, listener? Let us know what you think on GIF. But either way, Eastbound and Down, let us know how it keeps going. I'm sure it's going to be so much fun to the very end. And thanks, Dustin Lee Massey, for the comment.
That looks like me in the summer, too, with just sunburn.
It was a great poster. Yeah.
Summer Mike.
Weekend after the lake or something.
All right, so we did post a photo on our Facebook out there highlighting, actually, the Christmas present, Giggler, that you brought. I guess it was for one of us. I ended up drawing the lucky straw on this. The art of the Hulk and Spider-Man inside of our studio bathroom here in the basement. And we had a lot of feedback out there. We have some folks that said looks awesome. Rachel says this looks awesome. Angela, that's my mom, actually. She says looks great. Jamie says love it. And then Tally, he actually had a thought. Great question. Why is there a teepee hanging next to the urinals in the photo, in the art? Because it's the Hulk taking a whiz next to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got a spidey sense about something. It's like, whoa! But there's toilet paper in between standing urinals.
Sometimes you just need some TP for your pee-pee.
Oh my God, Giggler's on it today.
It was on your notes.
I swear to God.
Did you write that down and bring it?
Sorry, I'm just a funny guy. Get over it.
Yeah, we're like, there's no way he came up with that on the spot.
I can't read his handwriting anyway, so.
I responded back.
Neither can I.
I even said, like, just in case, I have no idea what they were thinking there.
Maybe Rocket Raccoon, since he's in that universe, might have a little accident.
Yeah, maybe some characters need the toilet paper. The question is, where do you throw it?
Oh, that's a great question. You don't want to be putting that in
maybe you get some tree wax.
Yeah, a little sap.
Yeah.
So you get a little sap, you get a big attitude. I think that's what he says in Guardians of the Galaxy. But got to check it out. Highlighting, of course, our Facebook channel, our YouTube channel. If you didn't know, you're listening to the podcast, we got really great images and videos on all this stuff. And had to highlight some folks on Facebook. All right, let's get into what we're watching. What you watching? What you watching? This is what we tell you when we tell you what we're watching each and every week, even what we're reading from time to time. We are going to feature some comic books today, but here's the exciting news, folks. We'll always feature fans first on this section if we can, and today is very special. We have our very first voicemail.
Real voicemail. All right.
You
go ahead. Let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, sure. We could tell everybody the truth.
We had one voicemail.
I mean, you brought it up, so we're going to.
Well, you said first voicemail.
That's fair. We
had one voicemail way back a couple months ago.
Somebody called
winter.
Yeah, back in the winter when our minds were really being tested with like being locked down for the second time. We were going through a lot.
Somebody made a voice.
I may have called and pretended to be someone else, and I'm really glad that we're sharing this with the fans now. If you're a longtime listener, you remember that voicemail. It was a question for PC Mike, but it was a real question. I did want to know who your favorite wrestler was, which I learned was Psycho Sid.
Yeah, I'm so glad you remember it.
And, of course I did, and we talked about it on the show. So do I have any regrets?
No.
No, not at all.
People do that all the time on shows.
Yeah, like how many
fake write-ins for talk shows.
How many people called Howard Stern that were actually Howard Stern? In the early days, probably a few.
In the early days, yeah.
Well, we're in the early days. We actually have a fan call in. You called him out, PC Mike.
I did.
You called him out directly on air. I loved it. Scotty, our boy Scott. We got him up here on the video. We got his nice Mostly Superheroes merch. And he did leave us a voicemail about a show on Netflix. And I'm just going to let him tell you.
Mostly superheroes. It's your boy Scotty. Called me out on the last one, so I had to call in. I'm calling to sing the praises of Sweet Tooth on Netflix. Guys, this is a must-watch. You've got to see it. Post-apocalyptic fantasy. We got the main character, Gus, also known as Sweet Tooth, on a mission to find his mother across the wasteland that is now the United States of America. Oh, and by the way, he is a human-animal hybrid. It's a great, fantastic show. Okay for kids. Everybody's going to love it. One of my favorite comic books of all time. As always, you guys are doing a great job. Enjoying the show. Look forward to hearing the next one. Thanks, guys.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Awesome.
Scott is the man.
I've seen this on the top 10.
So this is in the top 10. First of all, Scott, thanks for calling. What and a great synopsis for Sweet Tooth. If I wasn't excited about it, now I am. You're saying it's in the top 10. Have you guys seen this?
No, but I saw it like on the top 10 banner. I have not clicked it yet. Scott just made me click it.
I agree with. I've never read these comics, or I just knew that it was a DC comic, and it came up from. It was produced. I believe executive producers is Robert Downey Jr. and his wife.
Yeah,
so that was pretty. Because of that alone, I was just like, all right, I'm watching this. So we've watched like 4 episodes in, and it is pretty good.
You're enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, Scott really. Scott's obviously read the source material. And it came out, looks like June 4th. Says it's great for kids, said it's good for the family. I know we have a lot of parents out there listening to the show. Again, this is Sweet Tooth on Netflix. Got this image here from Firewire. It's on my list. That's all it took. You give me a good breakdown like that, and it's added. And we've talked about, man, that Netflix top 10, it comes up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But not everything on the top 10 is great. Like it's
no.
It just depends on the person, I think.
That's true.
But
Lucifer's been on my top 10 ever since the new episodes came out.
Yeah,
I don't think it will leave.
Yeah.
Are you watching Lucifer?
No.
You haven't seen it yet.
Like the data back in the day when The Boys was out, like I said a couple weeks ago, Lucifer was like the number 1 stream show out there.
Yeah.
Now the new episodes are out, and it's still number 1 every single time.
I've been tempted.
We're going to watch that.
I mean, with all this new stuff coming out.
Well, I'm just saying, like, assuming we do this podcast till we're dead, like for the next, we'll watch it. I feel like that is definitely one where we'll be like, all right, let's just watch this thing. I started it at one point. I think I got through like the first 4 episodes, and I could tell. I was like, I'll like this show.
Okay.
I'm not on that kind of stuff. I'm easy to please. I love Supernatural. Talking about Jensen Ackles. I mean, he's in The Boys now. Soldier Boy.
Yeah,
we're really rabbit holing here. All right, Sweet Tooth. We will put it on the list. It sounds like Andy's already started it. Scott, thanks for the voicemail. And you can be featured that easily. 754 call log. Let us know what you're watching. Going over to the Giggler, talking about a TNT show called Animal Kingdom. This poster looks ridiculous.
It shows
going
ridiculous.
Through like the slides before we started. Logan wanted to show us something, and he's just going through the slides really quick. And this one was up, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
It looks crazy. Andy, please tell us about this show, but tell us why you watch this.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that's making you come back?
I don't know.
Oh, I can tell why he's coming back.
No. So Steph suggested this one. My wife, she I guess just saw something about it, and we've been looking for a show that's like has episodes where you can binge, where it's not just one season and then we're like, what the hell do we do next? So this started in 2016, and it's our YouTube viewers are going to get a nice little treat for this one. But this old woman here is Smurf. She's like the matriarch of this family. The young kid there, he's 17, Jay. He basically his mom passes away, and he has nowhere to go. She overdoses on drugs. He has nowhere to go, so he basically stays with his grandma here. And their family is just, they don't have jobs. Their job is like crime. They just do rob people, rob banks, whatever. Come up with. They're always like, "What's our next job?" Blah 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 blah. And like they're all just have their own crazy backstories, like drug addictions, multiple wives, all this good stuff. Like everyone has their own crazy things going on behind the scenes, and basically just kind of goes through his like assimilation into the family. He starts as basically like an innocent kid, and like he basically keeps getting looped into all these
Like
jobs.
criminal activity.
Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to
You
do
can just
right.
see him kind of spiraling, and it's entertaining. I'll definitely keep watching to get caught up because I keep seeing commercials for the new season that look pretty enticing. I think they're on like season 4 now.
Season
So
4
this is on TNT, so you can get it on their app. But I mean, for something that's on TNT, I was like, this is pretty graphic. Like, there's just you see lots of side boob.
Lots of side
Whoa.
boob.
Some
Yeah, I'm
butts,
getting
some butts.
Sons of Anarchy.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Like it looks kind of like that. It's like, it's like the rough side of a family type thing.
And-
what will family do for each other? Whenever you break the law, that line goes pretty far. So let's push the limits of this. And we of course know that TNT, we know drama. So
Yeah.
And I mean, this does look extremely weird, and the show is extremely weird because like I don't even remember. Some of these guys are adopted. Some are like actual kids. It's tough.
who's
to
that
even,
guy from? On the far right.
He's in like everything.
Yeah, he's in like
He's
whole
in
bunch
like
of stuff.
every SVU, Law and Order, everything ever. It's insane.
I can almost see him
And-
like talking in something that I've really seen him in. And
he's
pretty
I
good.
know.
He's
Yeah,
good. though.
he plays this part extremely well. He's a freaking creep.
I see
but-
PC Mike over there working. We'll get the cast for this thing.
The grandma, Smurf, it gets weird sometimes. Like there almost seems to be like some like incestual like tendencies that are like developing.
Flirting with like the grandkids, type
Something
thing?
like that, yeah. Like
Oh.
not grandkid, like her kid,
These are her
like,
children.
Yeah, like some. Like I honestly can't remember which it keeps straight, like which ones are actually her kids and which ones are like adopted.
Yeah.
But they basically live in this house and just live the life. Like they have a pool, they have parties all the time. They're just
Degenerates.
they're
Which guy do we want to know?
all the way in
Pope?
there, right? Yeah, Pope.
His name is Sean
It's
Patsy.
I went
Yep,
through his
yep.
IMDb and it's hilarious. He's like every single IMDb or every single like Law and Order show, like network sitcom, CSI, everything like that. You just know that he's probably been like a 1-episode character for like all of those.
Hell yeah. All right.
He's
All right.
doing a lot of
And you
stuff.
said there are 4 seasons. It's on TNT. I assume that there's probably a lot of other ways to watch this. If it's on TNT, you might be able to find this on your Hulu.
Yeah,
app,
we're watching on
demand,
Prime,
Peacock,
Amazon Prime right now.
So it's probably all over the place. You're watching it. You're enjoying it. And you're not finished.
Right, we're about to finish the first season.
But-
We have the finale tonight to
You,
watch.
you recommend it for folks.
Let me go a little further.
You're waiting to see
Like
how it goes.
right now, it's worth a watch.
Okay. All right.
Season 5 comes out July 11th, 2021.
Oh, that's what the heck? It's
I
already
know,
renewed.
I know. It's like Yellowstone, where I just keep coming like into a show that's about to have a new season. I'm so pumped.
That
Yeah.
guy on the far left does look like Jax.
He looks just like Jax
Yeah.
Teller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
Same
kind of
hair, same beard.
like a B version of Jax.
Well, the guy,
It
the guy,
was
in
like
the,
he went into audition too, and they're like, "We already got our guy."
But we have the show that's going to be confused for an Animal Planet.
Yeah,
show
we got
that's
another-
gonna call the Animal.
I know it's
We got another. Yeah, I thought it was an
when
Animal
you
Planet
said that,
show.
I was like, oh, he's watching like Planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was
It
like,
was
oh, that's
Animal
cool.
Kingdom. It'll be about like lions.
then you pulled up Google and you're like, oh,
I was like,
Andy-
oh,
Andy's
I-
watching.
I was like, oh,
Porn.
a spinoff of porn. A spinoff of Sons of Anarchy.
yeah.
That's what I thought, because it's about a crime family and the mom. That's like the theme of that other
Mhm.
show. But keep us posted, Andy. Animal Kingdom, TNT. Next up, this one's mine. This image comes at us from Collider. This is Inside on Netflix. This is the Bo Burnham comedy special.
I like how you put it on quotes because I had some questions. I have not watched this yet, so I'm excited for this.
Putting it in quotes, I'll keep it like spoiler free, but here's the real truth. Yes, you've probably seen online, this is not a comedy special. This is, in my opinion, my take, again, like spoiler free as much as you can. It's a comedy special. But what he did was he made this at his house during the pandemic, and his goal was to have it done within 6 months, like by his 30th birthday. And then like he ends up making it a little bit longer. Again, I feel like it's almost like I don't want to spoil even that piece, but it goes longer than he thinks. And he's in his home by himself during lockdown. It is an introspective look at a person that openly discusses having mental health issues and like making a lot of progress on them and how he's developed them, and then living during the pandemic and being on his own and being isolated. It's a real hard look at isolation and also just struggling with mental health. But there also is a lot of very funny parts. There's a lot of catchy, tunes, of course. It's Bo Burnham. But it's definitely not what you think. It's not just a comedy special, and I highly recommend it. I called it a must-watch on Twitter, and I stand by it.
So I clicked on it. It had like TVMA, suicidal thoughts possibly, things like
Mhm.
that as the graphic warning. I was like, oh, I kind of want something lighthearted today. I don't really want to have something so heavy
Yep.
on, I think it was like a Sunday night.
Carrie and I literally had like a rough day one day, both of us. It was just at the end of the day. You guys know how that goes. And we were like, well, let's watch something that'll make us laugh.
Oops.
And it was really good, but like, yeah, it's if you're looking for an upbeat thing, this is definitely on the other side of it. You're still going to get that funny mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
He's a genius. There is no, if you've followed Bo Burnham for his career, he's a genius. His lyrics are the best. They're unbelievable. You get a lot of that, but yeah, he's talking about his struggles, and it gets a little dark at times. So yeah, definitely like parental advisory. If you're gonna watch this with your kids, you need to like watch with them and like be ready to talk to them because like there is some suicidal talks in this.
Okay, I'm gonna watch this
on the list.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let you know what I think.
List is growing.
It's always growing. Inside on Netflix. Go check it out for sure. Definitely recommend it. And we might want to save this one. Andy, I'm going to defer to you. We're talking about Loki today for the meat. We're about to go into our break. And I do have on the screen the Loki comics you're reading from Marvel Unlimited. Do you want to talk about it now or after we talk about Loki?
Honestly, I can just work this into when we talk about Loki itself.
Yeah, because we're already talking about Loki. So if you're talking about a Loki comic book.
Just a high level update, I guess. I've read like probably 10 or so Loki comics in the past week or so, and I'm going to keep going for sure while the show comes out just to see if I can catch anything. I've already noticed a few little hints here and there of references to comics that from this first episode. So I'll just leave it at that.
No, that's really great because I feel like that's a great way to plug. I mean, you're enjoying Marvel Unlimited, your subscription plan that you've done. You're enjoying it.
One of the best investments I've made to date.
That's pretty awesome. You're reading them on your phone. You can read them on all your devices. And we'll bring in the specifics after we break down Loki. We're going to do it right after the break. The MCU continues with Phase 4. The series is here. We've been waiting for almost 2 years, and we cannot wait to break it open with you. Stick around. We'll be right back. The meat. Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, here with PC Mike and the Giggler. That's right. It's time for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's why you came. It's why you're here. It's what you want. And this week is a very special highlight of, you guessed it, the MCU. It does it every week. Even when we try to take a break and do something else, the MCU comes back in. Funny thing. We actually got our MCU library totally up to date. I just texted you guys yesterday. If you or a friend or someone you know is trying to get into the MCU, they're like, how do I navigate this? What order do I watch? Can I get some help watching some of these movies? Go to mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. It is currently, actually, we're already behind.
We're behind.
As we talk right now, but when you hear this, it'll be back up to speed because Loki dropped last night at 3 a.m., the 26th MCU title. It's the third it's the third Phase 4 title this year in 2021. If you remember from Avengers Endgame, Loki picked up the Tesseract, but what happened next? This is the show that talks about it. Let's talk about the series premiere, the first of 6 episodes. We're talking about Tom Hiddleston coming back in his very own series, the God of Mischief himself, Loki. Just to kick us off, we're going to do a full roundtable here of what happened, what are the parts we saw. We all three have watched it today. It came out today, June 9th, 2021. At a very high level, what happened to this one? Loki picked up that Tesseract. He jumped portals, looked like somewhere just across Earth, is immediately picked up by this group called the Time Variance Authority, time police that are making sure that the multiverse stays intact. None of the time streams have too many nexus points where things can go haywire. And Owen Wilson is one of the agents. He kind of takes Loki under his wing and says, we're going to use you for something.
Wow.
And we're gonna do some hunting together. Just go and get the spoiler alert for this episode right now. They're hunting himself at the end, we find out. So that's kind of the top level. Let's go around the table and just talk about how we felt about this thing before we dive into this episode is packed full of information. I'm just going to say it first. This is my favorite title so far out of Phase 4 this year. Better than WandaVision, better than Falcon Winter Soldier. Loki is my pick, and we're only one episode in.
Calling it. I mean, are we surprised? Like, Kevin Feige already said this is going to have the biggest impact on the MCU. That's pretty clear with, you can just look at what just happened in the first episode. Everything has to do with time. Look at where we're headed. Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania. Like,
Big, impactful, big MCU universe, high stakes. Eternals are coming later this year. You obviously loved it, Giggler. How was your experience watching this thing beginning to end?
Like, you know how you called me out for like frantically taking notes from while we were watching Hulk the other day? Like, it was, I can't even read this. Like, I was just like,
just chicken scratch.
I had to like pause it multiple times and just write shit down.
Make sure that you just watch and enjoy it the first time.
Oh, I know. Normally I would, but it's gonna be tough with this
tough
new
today.
Wednesday thing where
Oh, you're squeezing it in already.
I'm like, yeah, watching it while I'm working, or like we're gonna start waking up early to watch it, basically.
that's
way I can do
that's
that.
the move. I mean, first thing we wake up, we watch this thing.
And then I might come over here to watch it
We'll put it on again.
with you before we.
Yeah, and that can be your note-taking session. PC Mike, how did this go for you? Talking about Loki here.
I said when I got here, I didn't want to like break anything. I could possibly see this being my favorite thing to ever come out of Marvel after one episode.
After one episode.
I mean, it makes Falcon and Winter Soldier look awful to me.
Yeah.
Like, it just blows it out of the water. It's not even close.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, for me to be even able to say that this was my pick over those two, here's exactly why. What I tell you when we came in, I didn't even need to have like my breakdown of notes because I can tell you exactly what happens this episode. It's what we're going to do while we're sitting here. But WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, I'm like having to write down everything. You know, it's like you're trying to pay so much attention. WandaVision especially was like, what are these? Do these Easter eggs mean anything? Falcon the Winter Soldier had like a character complex, just so many things going on, so many story routes. This one was like
3 sentences.
I know who this Loki is. I know where he came from, and let's just get right into it. This Loki, who was in 2012 Avengers, during the time heist of Avengers Endgame. Spoiler alert for the entire Infinity Saga. If you haven't watched Avengers Endgame, we're in Phase 4 now, so we got to just set the stage. They set this thing up right away. He jumps with his Tesseract. He goes to the Time Variance Authority. Magic doesn't work there. He can't use any of his powers. He finds out the Tesseract doesn't even work. He's getting questioned by Owen Wilson. He escapes and starts to go around this Time Variance office, and he's like running around. He gets his hands on the Tesseract, and what else does he find?
Infinity Stones.
A desk full of Infinity Stones
Like
that are
multiple versions.
useless.
Multiple versions, too. Like 2 Time Stones, 3 Power Stones.
That secretary guy is
Oh.
hilarious.
So
Oh
funny.
my god, I
What's
love
a
that guy.
What's a fish?
Tacoma FD. Have you guys ever seen that show?
I know what it is.
It's like
It's the
Super Troopers.
Super Trooper guys. Yeah.
two basically, or maybe Super
So
Troopers.
that's like the assistant.
alternate universe where they're basically just firemen,
That's awesome.
and
That's
he's in that. So
he's in this. He's like the intern nervous guy. He's like, what's a fish? I just want to know what you're gonna do. How are you gonna
He's like,
kill
I'm
me?
gonna murder you. He's like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
He goes, we're literally using these Infinity Stones as paperweights. I said this in my instant reaction. The first 23 movies are called the Infinity Saga. It's about these 7 stones, and getting them changes everything. They're the most powerful thing in the universe. And he's learning right now that this place is like,
Like, they already knew what was going to happen before they knew it was going to happen.
They even said the Avengers, what they did. So Loki says, I know what the Avengers were up to. I could smell 2 Tony Stark colognes.
yes,
So he's like, I know that they were time traveling. I'm guessing because I won, they came back to stop me. He makes it about himself. And he goes,
Dude.
and then they said the Avengers, what they did was supposed to happen. You jumping out, that is not. So that was what makes him a variant. This is what creates what we are now known as a nexus point. This is when the main time stream, let's just get to it. What do we learn early about the Time Variance Authority?
I loved the animations they did.
Oh,
Like
that's
old school 70s, like School of Rock. Like, here's how it happened.
I felt like
the
it was that.
TVA. It's the TWA branding, like the airline. If you remember the TWA, it's like the same look. I think it's meant to be exactly like the same thing. Old 70s computers. This is the place that is running all of time everywhere.
Wild. That scene with that video reminded me of like Jurassic Park when they're in that
Yep.
that
Yeah.
little ride where it's like just like a little preview of everything.
They're like, we'll help you out. We'll tell you what's going on. What's going on? 3 beings a millennia ago called the Timekeepers stopped a multiverse war where there were all these multiverse timelines. And they said, you know what? We'll put them back together. They get the time stream into one solid time stream. This looks exactly like what we learned. Another breakdown, the Ancient One in Endgame. When she's explaining it to Bruce Banner, she shows him the timeline. So you're telling me these 3 space time lizards is what Loki calls them, right? The Time Keepers. These are like the ultimate beings that control and know about ultimately everything.
But he questions like we would. Oh, so these three are in charge of everything? Like, but then at the end, he sees like the Tesseract and the Infinity Stones, and he's like, we're in the most powerful place in the universe, aren't we? And like I think that's what kind of shakes him.
It
like,
shakes him, and he starts to learn about his journey. I love this too. This episode, perfect. I'm just going to say it. They did everything that I hoped they would do early. Hey, this Loki is a different version of the character, one that has not died in Infinity War. This is the one from 2012. How are you going to get this character that has had so much character development to be a new character that has to make new choices? Oh, I'll tell you how you do it. Show him his highlight reel of his life. You know, they pull it up on like the screen, and she shows him. He's like, this is what happened after you got caught. Remember that in Thor: The Dark World? And he goes, remember this moment? And the Dark Elves infiltrate Asgard, and one of the big guys, the one with the stone that like got big and powerful, looked like a bull. He let all the prisoners go, and Loki goes up the hallway to the left. And Owen Wilson's like, you know what happened next? Your mom was killed. He's like directly responsible for his mom dying, and the Dark World is like, this can't be real. This isn't what happened. And Owen Wilson's like, no, this is what always happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sees what happened in Thor Ragnarok, sees the whole development between him and his brother, and then this was it, man. This is where I had the goosebumps, the Marvel feeling of like, oh my God, this is only episode 1. He's watching future himself, dagger up to left arm, up to Thanos' neck. Thanos has the Infinity Stones, picks up Loki. Spoiler alert for Infinity War. I already said it. Snap. Kills him.
Well,
this is literally...
He didn't do the snap. He snapped his neck.
Right, he snapped his neck. Yeah, that's a good point. This Loki, you got to remember, this Loki that we're watching on screen right now in this show, he was literally just hired by Thanos to take over Earth and then failed because the Avengers beat him. So he's literally going like, oh my God, full circle. This guy, same guy that hired me, he ends up being the one that kills me in however many years.
I didn't even think of that.
What a wake-up call.
Yeah. Wow.
So that combined with what you just said, Mike, it's like, oh, I'm at the ultimate place. Here he says to Owen Wilson, too. He says, oh, I can't go back, can't I? And Owen Wilson goes, no. But I don't know what you guys... I want to hear your theories on this, Giggler. I'm wondering... I want to see this Loki live past these 6 episodes. We've talked about hopefully there being a season 2. I think there would be. But I just hope it's never like, oh, then we wipe his memory and we put him back type thing. And it's just like this one story. I hope that doesn't happen.
I think if you think about it, why can't he just go... This Loki end up joining back with our universe, and they just say, "Oh, this was part of the plan all along."
And maybe it was, and maybe Owen Wilson knows something. I also wondered, like, did Loki actually escape that room? I felt like he saw exactly what he needed to see to get on board.
They're basically puppet masters, and maybe everything, and they're going to stitch this Loki into the new universe.
Like you guys are saying,
maybe Thanos doesn't kill Loki in our new timeline.
Well,
storyline.
I don't think so, because we're in something brand new now. He comes back, maybe meets up with future Thor, with Guardians of the Galaxy. But man, they did this in episode 1. There are 5 more to go.
Or could we have a situation like the movie Us, where which Loki's actually out there?
I've never seen Us.
Oh, well, not spoiling that.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, that's why I said it for
like,
someone else that might not have seen it.
Which Loki is out there? Is it because at the very end we get 1850s something Oklahoma Loki, right?
Well, we assume it's Loki because Owen Wilson says, I need your help to hunt somebody. It's you.
And then we get those kind of breadcrumbs. Is it who we thought WandaVision's villain was going to be?
I can't believe we're going to say this, but like literally in the first 10 minutes when we meet Owen Wilson, he's in 1500s. It was like 1500.
Yeah.
And they're at this old church or something, and he has a little kid. Who killed our time cops? And he points up at a painting. It's literally a devil.
It's not Mephisto, though.
Oh, he said it. You're the one that said it.
It's fine. No, I already looked this up because it pissed me off when we saw it. I was like, did they just do that on purpose to like F with us?
Right.
Because of that? But the director already came out and said, who knows if this is true, that's not a Mephisto reference. But then again, right.
I don't know.
Right, yeah.
I can't.
I don't trust a thing. I mean, especially after
Paul Bettany,
what he pulled. Yeah. So what's going on with this other Loki then? So there's another Loki that's a variant. Who is that?
I don't.
And who caused it? And then I get to thinking like, so
has this been happening since?
So there's different.
You're right. Is it happening because of the snap? Is it happening because of what Captain Steve Rogers did when he returned the stones? My mind just starts going crazy with But they also said there's been 6 attacks on their time police. Like someone's doing all of them, it sounds like. There's like one person. What do you think? Any theories, Giggler, about this other Loki? What's going on? Any thoughts at all? We're just going to have to wait and see, maybe.
I keep seeing things pointed out that on his, like, I can't remember if it was like his birth certificate or some document that you saw on the show today. Like, probably, I think it was like his arrest papers or something like that. It says like that he's gender fluid. So
Yeah, yep. I've seen a
I
lot about
know
this.
from my comic reading that there's other versions of Loki in the comics. So
It could be
I
a
think
totally
he's
different actor, or is it still Tom Hiddleston?
actress.
Actress, right? Because
Yeah.
it's gender fluid.
Yeah, that's where I think they're going.
Um,
Could you think like he's gonna probably just fall in love with this person?
oh my God.
He's pretty narcissistic, obviously, from what you said earlier. Like,
oh, jeez.
he's gonna
A love story about Loki and Loki.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be wild.
be hot. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says sex fluid.
Yeah,
Honest.
it's a gender fluid or like something like that. So,
You know what else we learned about Loki?
thanks to Reddit,
His last name.
Laufeyson.
Laufeyson.
Yeah, Laufey's son, because Laufey was his dad from Jotunheim, the ice giant from the first Thor movie, whereas like typically it'd be like Odin's son, because that's where he was raised under Odin at the Asgard, but they're at the Time Variance Authority. They're like, no, we know exactly who you are. They knew everything. I had never heard. They're like, it sounded like a waiting room, you know? They go, Loki Laufeyson?
Did you guys notice the scroll in the waiting room?
No.
They're doing this to F with us probably even more, but
It's
or
working.
it's just a great reference. I mean, there was I didn't catch it at first. I had to see a screenshot on Reddit, but somebody pointed it out that you can see the guy, one of the guys that was in like that waiting room,
Yeah.
like when he was like taking a number or something like that. That there was a guy that was a scroll. You could see his face change from human to green ugly thing, whatever the hell they are.
To the scroll, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was also the one guy that was in front of Loki when he's like, take a number. You know, take a number. And that guy's like, my dad works at Goldman Sachs. He'll have all you guys. But then they kill him. And Owen Wilson says that Loki was like, well, what were you going to do with me at that trial? And he's like, yeah, that's where they kill you. I'm bringing you somewhere else to try something different for you to, again, I know your skill set. I want you to help me hunt you down. That's exactly why he wants him.
A lot of his record too that I have pulled up here, it's redacted, like it's blacked out, like a lot of his stuff on there. So why would they? If they know everything, why is that? Because it hasn't happened yet,
Yeah.
and they might be changing his future.
This is what we need to know. This is what we're going to find out in these 5 to
Yeah.
come. Trying to think of anything else that's coming to the top of the head. I noticed that like whenever he came in, they're like, no robots. That was a weird thing. And they're like, if you go through this thing and you're a robot, we're going to blow you up. And I was like, no robots at all?
That might just be reference to like Vision, maybe. I guess like Ultron, I guess too. Like
that's what I figured. But like,
just kind of
are all robots bad in the MCU?
no, not bad, but I mean, just like if you don't know it, like I don't know.
I mean, we're getting into like AI.
Yeah, we're already getting in time travel, multiverses. Like might as well throw robots in there too.
Yeah,
Scrolls, robots. Who knows what's real?
I was kind of curious why whenever he jumped to the space stone, like he just jumped to like the other side of the world. It seemed like he didn't like. Why wouldn't he like go anywhere else?
I don't know.
Like, why'd he drop to the middle of the desert and then like he gets caught immediately? I did kind of think like, but he had also just got rattled around by the Hulk 10 minutes ago.
That's
He
true.
went to the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. It says.
Yeah, like why there?
Well, this is what confuses me. I think. Remember how I told you guys I watched that Vote Loki or listened to or read the Vote Loki comics or whatever, where he, long story short, he just tricks the United States into letting him run for president.
Yeah,
And well, in the previews, you can see that he has him and some people behind him that are like he's all dressed up and he's like wearing the like a Vote Loki sticker.
mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's a pretty cool connection. Who knows how deep that?
Right, and that'll probably
That's
be like
gonna
one
go.
episode.
Yeah, and then I think if I remember correctly, the people behind him were those people. So maybe they'll come back.
Okay, interesting. That's really interesting.
I could be wrong, but maybe they just look
alike.
But
How about this? We also saw that Loki, you know, he's been around thousands of years, I guess, visited Earth before he ever came in when we saw him in Thor, and he's actually DB Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
love
God,
that.
how
I
do
love
we-
that callback.
Oh my God. It just
insane.
jumps out. he's like, Heimdall, pull me up. And the Bifrost
did.
just grabs him.
And it's crazy how much he did look like the sketch of D.B. Cooper.
I know.
I know. I feel like that was like what happened in the writing room. They're like, you know what I've always thought?
Gotta look like D.B. Cooper.
And then all the money, like it
'Cause
leaves
then
money
the-
behind.
And then the monies gets found in
Yep.
like an Oregon.
They're like,
riverbank.
How was it sprinkled all around?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he got pulled by the Bifrost.
Yeah. I love that.
That was pretty good.
What did he say? Like his brother told him to do
They
it?
lost a bet. Yeah.
Lost a bet?
Oh,
Wonder-
my. Oh,
Wonder what the bet was.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. He was
Like,
like,
why'd you do that or something? He's like, my brother.
I wonder what they bet.
Oh, yeah. What was it? What would maybe Thor had to do something like similar.
Yeah. Who had bigger arms? No wonder he lost.
Yeah. All right. Well, so far so good on this show. Any other thoughts from you guys? Any predictions you want to make? I mean, for myself, 5 to go, and it's gonna be one of those shows that's just I did not want it to end. The moment it was over, I was sad, but can't wait to watch it more. Can't wait to talk about it with you more. Giggler, want to go first?
Let's talk about this Nexus thing.
Okay.
Remember that from WandaVision? It was one of the the commercials that she had.
Oh yeah.
She was taking like a Nexus
cream.
pill or something like that.
Wasn't it like a Nexus.
Yeah. And remember, Jock and the Nerd was on our podcast and gave us a nice little description of what that means. That
Anthony told us
they can basically, Nexus beings can basically,
they're the most powerful.
yeah, they can alter the sacred timeline that they're talking about without help. Like obviously, Loki did it because he had the Tesseract to do so.
Right. And the Avengers had like interfered, so he had like this rare opportunity.
So,
But Nexus beings like Wanda, that we know now,
exactly.
the Scarlet Witch, she can do it just from within inside of herself. So,
Yeah.
So Nexus is like a Nexus being is the all powerful. A Nexus point is just a point of a variant being created, like something going off track. Is how I understood a Nexus point.
Yes, I agree. And then at the same time, in that little video, they talked about like multiversal war that happened that basically the timekeepers saved them from. But like that's kind of the premise of that Secret War comic book that I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, all the heroes
And-
like having to fight each other, different timelines, different versions. It was chaos.
Obviously I'm biased because that's the longest series that I've read so far, and I loved it. But like if that makes it to live action, that would be so cool.
Or
Yeah.
like even you could do a flashback to where you get a good sequence, or like a future war comes into play.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways they can do it. With I mean the original comic version had like Fantastic Four, X-Men, everything in it, but I mean they can do their own version. It doesn't have to be the exact same. I prefer that anyways. They'll do a spin on it and kill it probably.
Yeah. PC Mike, what about you? What else you thinking on this show?
I have no idea where it's going to go. We've done all these theories. WandaVision burned us. Falcon and Winter Soldier, honestly, I didn't care. I hate to say that. But,
Fair. It's fair.
um,
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean, by the way. It's not, we're not disrespecting any part of the show. It's literally the show overall just felt a lot.
But I think like we talked about with all the multiverses and all the things coming up, I am not trusting hardly anything that I see right now
Yeah.
because it could be all just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
He is the trickster.
God, I hate that too. What is he being shown? Because he is the trickster. He's always the one that makes someone see a facade, right? So is he being tricked?
And are we being tricked with what we're
Yeah,
actually seeing?
that's what-
And
I mean, yeah, that maybe like they're just those like heads that were behind the judge or
Yeah,
whatever.
the timekeepers.
Yeah, like that. Like, have these people like met these times? Like, are we going to see them actually? Like, one of them looks exactly like Kang the Conqueror. That's supposed to be the next big villain.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, are they good time
Right,
keepers?
that's what I mean.
Loki says it, right? He says, so they decide everything. And she says, yes. And he goes, what do you do? And she says, I do what they tell me to do. And he goes, all right, can I talk to them? And she says, no, they're busy.
And I'm also excited to see how this affects, like Kevin Feige said, how big does this affect the universe, like moving forward?
Well,
Yeah.
we've heard most impactful series for sure to do it so far, but it's only the third one. So like, I feel like, of course this is. I think that like you guys are spot on. It can go anywhere. They have set the stage that this Loki is going to be helping these folks jump around different times, they could be on any planet, any timeline. We could see any versions of any heroes or dead or alive. But what is the story? Like who's, like Andy said when we talked last week, or it was a couple days ago, who's the bad guy? And is it going to be someone within the TVA? I feel like there might be like a traitor in the midst, or it's not what we think they were, or
could Loki have like a bigger version of kind of like what Steve Rogers did when he went back in time and lived his own life? He had a different timeline.
oh my God.
Is Loki going to do something bigger? Like, hey, I've seen my future. I
This-
got to get to a different timeline no matter what.
This
and
is my-
stitch it back together.
This is my favorite type of storytelling. I love time travel. I love thinking about like an older version of Loki that's like already lived through what we're watching now, like showing up and being like, "You're never gonna believe this," you know. But like we see at the end of the episode, just kind of like leading up to the only thing we didn't really talk about at length is this hunt for this other Loki. We're led to believe this person, where the time police are looking. What was it, like 1850?
1850s, like Oklahoma, like looking for oil, they said.
And they had like he just lights up the field and murders these time police. I say he, like we don't know. There's a hood up, no face.
Yeah. Well, there's another scene. I was dissecting the trailers.
Oh
Hard.
gosh. Okay.
There's a scene where he's like sitting there with a woman, and it looks like it's Black Widow.
It did look like Black
But
Widow. I remember.
I think they're misdirecting us, like always.
Well, just like with the BD Cooper thing, they got that out of the way immediately. Like him jumping out of a plane, getting pulled up.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a flashback.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's a lot of other good references. Like, did you catch the nightmare reference?
Yeah, he
Remember
says, he goes, "This is a nightmare." And Owen Wilson goes, "Now that department I would burn down."
Could be. That's the Loki comics I'm reading right now, where he just nightmare is basically he can. I don't know. He's like
You're right. He ends up in there.
basically what's the Nightmare on Elm Street guy? He's basically just shows up in your
Freddy Krueger.
your nightmares. Yeah. He
Yeah.
doesn't have weird knife hands, but he basically shows up in your
Garden
dreams.
shears.
He
Like
just
Edward Scissorhands.
shows up in your dreams and like causes mass chaos. So that's
You're so spot on. Like he ends up in the nightmare thing. He ends up in like somebody's head, or that could be like how we get misled with certain characters.
yeah. But I think the favorite thing that I read about this show overall is that so the showrunner is the guy that did Rick and Morty,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense with
Oh
like
my
the time,
God.
like time stuff and everything. And
Oh
like
my god.
you guys watched Rick and Morty, yes?
Oh yes.
I have not.
So
Oh
the,
Mike.
the Citadel of Rick's episode.
So basically, what this means, though, at a high level, if you're not a Rick and Morty fan, Rick and Morty is all about that multiverse life.
Yes.
Infinite universes of infinite copies of everybody you know living every different possibility out there, and they're all accessible.
So,
So you're telling me this is one of the guys producing on
yes,
this show?
and even more, this just shows like how insane this Marvel universe is. The Citadel of Rick's episode. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So that was
Great.
based on a Marvel comic where there was a Citadel of one of the guys from the Fantastic Four, all the different versions of that person in the same spot.
Like
They're
they
in the
had all
same-
got
yeah.
together. Was it like Reed Richards?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Like Reed
That's who it
Richards
is. Yes,
discovered the
that's it.
multiverse, and then he is like, okay, I'll get all of me together and create like a fortress where we
So,
all.
yeah, so the Rick and Morty made an episode based on Marvel. Now Marvel is showrunner is basically
This
hired
is.
to
I'm so
create
excited.
another
It's crazy.
story.
Anything could happen. I'll tell you that. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty, they take it to the limit with anything could happen. So I'm excited about it.
I saw a little nugget just now as I was reading like Owen Wilson's character,
Mhm.
Mobius M. Mobius. Is that how you say his name?
Yes.
Um, Wilson and the director examined Good Will Hunting, the film, as a way to create Mobius's mentorship qualities for Loki,
Yeah.
while still pushing him and having some therapeutic elements to it.
Yeah. And what a breakthrough he has in the first episode. He's like he gets him to say the first thing he said to him about what the people he goes after are. He's like, all these people lying to themselves, creating a facade for people to believe. He's like, actually, I was talking about me.
Yeah.
But
It's just hard for me to see him being a bad guy if they watch Good Will Hunting. You know what I mean?
yeah. Goodwill Hunting. I mean, but I did get those vibes. I totally got that vibe of Owen Wilson trying to coach him, and he's
He's like guiding him where he wants to go.
but how much is Loki doing to trick him? And I mean, at the end of the day, Loki is a murderer, and like this is part that they have to do as writers. You know, this is a family show, really. At the end of the day, or is it? Like, you got to convince us that this guy is a good guy all over again, because he did. They show us all of his hits of him just murdering people, and I was like, damn, yeah, he did kill a lot of people. He attacked Earth. The attack on New York, man. All right, episode 2 next week. Anything else?
I can't
You got
wait.
anything else in your notes?
No, not at all. Honestly, I mean,
Did you already bring up the
I
points
crossed
from your
everything.
comics? Your comics, you kind of mixed.
yeah, I
in.
mixed them all in, and I
Nice
mean the
job.
only
That was
other
elegant.
like relevant part was I was interested to see about like the TVA and where they originated. And actually, they were mostly in Thor comics and Fantastic Four. So this will be that. I think that's maybe why a lot of this might not be from the comics kind of going forward.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, the
Well,
more they
we never
reference,
bank
it's just
on the comics.
Yeah.
We're just looking at like possibilities. And it
yeah,
gives us
and it's
ideas.
just Easter eggs, cool references, callbacks, and all that. But that originated in Thor comic in like the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And basically they wrote these like time bike things, which is how they traveled time, which I'm hoping that shows up sometime, because it's just funny, like looking to think about. Like I liked how they just kind of opened up like little portal doors and just appear.
Yeah.
Like that seems more legit, more modern, but
Yeah,
whatever.
and it gives you like a sense of understanding of like, okay, these guys can go literally anywhere at any point, any time, but that little doorway, I mean, it's just like the DC time,
Yeah.
like in Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
It's like they got the same looking thing.
Exactly.
These look better though. I think they look a lot
Yeah.
better.
But basically in that original comic that they premiered in, Thor is on Earth and Jane gets murdered, and Thor uses the TVA to basically go back in time and keep her alive, which I'm like, now I need to read further from that, because like that almost seems like it goes against everything that
Yeah,
they just said.
or maybe Loki tries to go back and just save his mom.
So he becomes,
Or at least just
redeems himself. This is his redemption.
yeah.
It could be
Or tries to.
It's a redemption story, maybe trying to be different, right from the get-go. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to see the rest of these episodes. We'll be talking about it each and every week here on the show. I mean, my God, I had so much fun. I really did have that special feeling again, like that Marvel feeling of like, I said it when we were talking during Patreon stuff. This is Loki. This is like more of that major character, has a little bit of weight to it, and you can feel it. And I can't wait to see what they do next to this. So, of course, as always, what comes up next if you're watching this? I mean, we're only on episode 1, 5 to go, but we talked about this. I've been scouring the internet for a good Phase 4 calendar. There's a lot of good ones out there, but as all the changes in the last 6 months, year, I just could not find one that I liked enough, so I made one myself. It's up on the screen now. It shows you every part of Phase 4 from every title that's got a date, that doesn't have a date, but still in the order that I believe it came from. I got this article from Digital Spy. It's featured on our website. It's on that MCU page. This image is already there. But we've already talked about WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. Loki's happening right now. 5 to go. But next up, July 9th, 2021, Black Widow. I mean, we're going to be seeing this thing in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And then What If is supposed to be coming out this summer. And then Shang-Chi is coming September 3rd. Eternals, November 5th. And then for the rest of this year, we're supposed to have Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, and then end with Spider-Man No Way Home. And there's a whole slate of stuff in 22 and 23. Go check it out at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU.
Is Hawkeye a show?
Hawkeye's
Yes.
a TV show.
Is Miss Marvel a show?
Ms. Marvel's a show, yes.
Are they confirmed how many episodes? Because just like looking at dates,
It's crazy.
tight to fit in. I don't know.
I agree, and there aren't any dates. It just says 2021 still. And
Well-
it's like, when are you going to make these 2 series come out?
Or 3 if What If doesn't have a date either.
And What If,
Yeah, looking at this, kind of trying to fit our DC rewatch stuff in there. I mean, it's overwhelming, but like think about like What If probably. I mean, that's not canon, so we don't need to have full recaps discussions
No.
on those. They'll probably be shorter, so we can fit in a whole.
We can do like the
DC
whole season or
DC.
something as a show.
Yeah,
whole season, or we just talk about if it's a quick 10-minute thing on one episode, and it's like, yeah, it was really great. Go watch it. I totally hear you guys. We are going to figure it out, and actually, we'll talk about that during what's coming up. Go check out that MCU library if you haven't already. A lot happening on the show. We're going to talk about what is coming up over the next several weeks. Obviously, we got Loki top of mind, but on the music show, our spinoff on Spotify, playing you the music from the TV shows and movies that I'm watching. It's exclusively on Spotify, built using Anchor, and an extra special thank you, as always, to the artists that we feature this week. Breaking Bad. Great time. Great episode. What a soundtrack. So many great songs. I don't know if you guys remember watching that show, but the songs they pick for individual scenes, you'll be like
His last scene.
oh, it's in. Yep, I got it in there. I got the last song, and I highlighted some of the episodes, told you when they took place, talked about some of my favorite characters. You guys know I just finished the rewatch, but go over to mostlysuperheroes.com/the music show and listen to the music from Breaking Bad. I promise you'll have a good time. All right, we got another voicemail.
that guy looks familiar.
Scott is up again. I actually just split his one voicemail into 2 because he had 2 titles, and this is one that's in the future. It's Why the Last Man on FX on Hulu. I'm going to let Scott tell you about it.
September 13th, Hulu and FX have finally gotten Y the Last Man, a TV show. This thing has been in development hell for years, based off of another one of my favorite comic books of all time, Y the Last Man. Another post-apocalyptic drama, but this one is a little darker. The main character, Yorick Brown, wakes up one day as the last man on Earth. Plenty of women, only one man.
Whoa.
It's that was going to be a great one to watch.
Jeez.
As always, you guys are doing a great job. Enjoying the show. Look forward to hearing the next one. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Two titles, and I want to put this in coming up because it's in September. Why the Last Man? I mean, sounds awesome.
Dave season 2 next week.
Oh my God!
FX. Speaking of FX,
that trailer was awesome. Thanks, Scott, for Why the Last Man. We'll check that out. Thanks for BC.com for help with the image. But yeah, man, Dave coming out too. I like these gritty, like kind of more raunchy. You know, like where will these kind of shows go? I mean, I love the stuff on FX. I love Legion. Love that show.
I never watched that.
That's a Marvel mind melter for sure.
I tried.
It's intense. I mean, it's all over the place. Like you got to be like really open to be like, you'll see anything in today's episode.
I watched Sons of Anarchy, of course.
Of course.
I did not watch Mayans.
Never saw that.
I did. Did you ever watch the show Nip Tuck?
Nope.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah.
A couple episodes, probably 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah.
But FX has some. I mean, Always Sunny.
Always Sunny. Nip Tuck was all the rage back in the day.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be watching Dave, though. We all three watched that first season. So, yeah, thanks again, Scott. You guys can always call in 754-CALL-LOG. It's that easy to get something featured. And, of course, like I said, we're going to be talking about Loki every single week. And check out the new schedule. We got episodes now coming out. This one right here came out on Monday, early on Sunday on Patreon. You got the music show on Tuesday. Live reruns of the episode. Live on Instagram on Wednesday, live on Twitch on Thursday, and of course, Logan's Letter, our weekly love letter to the fans, comes out every single Friday, and we will always be engaging with you guys over the weekend, trying to get what you watching from the Mostly Superheroes Facebook group. You can also join us at mostlysuperheroes.com, subscribe to the newsletter, and of course, an extra special thank you to our Patreon patrons. But go check out that nice, fresh schedule, and I want to talk about one more thing before we wrap up. Talked about this during Patreon. And it was kind of where you were kind of going toward the end of Loki. We are going to be talking about Marvel stuff all the time, especially a lot of TV shows with episodes. I'm thinking that I want to get this DC rewatch going. I'm excited. Like we've talked about it. We're going to start the hashtag DC rewatch. We got the titles pulled up. We agreed we're going to do Superman, the movies first. But it's like, oh my God, this MCU schedule is getting a little daunting. We all agreed. Tell me if you guys changed anything, but I think that this is how we're going to do it. We will do what you watching when we're watching something like live, right? So if we got something we want to feature, what you watching, we're going to dial back our what you watching that week so that we can have a feature during the meet. So what does that mean? That means like next week, man, we should plan for it next week. We'll do Loki during what you watching. We'll still feature fans. If you're a fan and you want to get featured during what you watching, call on the show, write us an email, write us on Instagram. We'll still feature you guys. But for next week, we'll do Loki during what you watching. And for the meet, let's break open Superman.
Love it.
Christopher Reeves.
There he is right there,
Deal.
behind you.
Right here.
I guess just about everyone is somewhere around here.
You can find.
They're hiding.
And I got a Superman. I got this poster hanging up in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
No. So does that sound good to you guys? That way we can dial back our content. We don't overload our plates, but like it allows us to watch at least a couple things for the week.
And since it's a TV show and not a movie, a 2.5 hour movie, like Loki's only going to be 45 minutes. And then we could watch an hour and a half, 2 hour Superman. I mean, that's basically what we were watching with one Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
So it's the same time, but kind of varying it up, going a little old school, starting the new link on the website with the DC. And we got to start it. Because if we don't start it, we're just going to be falling behind more and more and more.
Yeah, and I think we learned a lot of good lessons doing the old stuff with the new stuff in early parts of Mostly Superheroes, and that's exactly why we're saying we're going to dial back our own what you watching, like Loki, that's what we're watching right now, so that's where it's going to fit. Dial it back a little bit, get the quick review, theories, and then have a break, and then you're going to get a feature each week. Like I said, something like right now it's going to be old stuff, old DC stuff, can't wait.
And then the DC, we could break it down into smaller like subcategories. They aren't all fluid like Marvel.
No, we can pick and choose.
So we can watch those Christopher Reeve Supermans. And then, we've already done Batman 89 and Batman Returns. Oh, we can do Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
And hell, we can
Yes,
even
please.
just make a list of all of them, and maybe we want to do like Superman 1 and then like something else. Maybe we want to do like a Wonder Woman or something, like, and then be like, okay, we'll come back to Superman 2 later, like just to keep it mixed up. I want to keep mixing it up.
Because those are kind of standalone films.
Oh yeah. I feel like there's
Which is
not a ton
nice
of
change-up.
continuity. Yeah, Giggler, that work for you?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna start this up. It's mostlysuperheroes.com/DCU.
We did pull up that list a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was daunting,
Yes.
but I think we'll skip like Swamp Thing 1938 for a while or
Hey,
whatever it was.
You speak for yourself. I'll never say never.
I said for a while.
I'll watch all these things. Hey, what we say we're gonna watch for Christmas?
Star Wars.
holiday special.
Yeah.
With the Wookiee family. Apparently the inspiration for James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that'll come out in 2022 that we'll definitely be watching. But I mean, that's pretty bad, but I'll still sit down and watch
I'll
it
watch
just for us to talk about it.
It's the best time of year.
That's right. Yeah, mid-Christmas is coming up. All right, guys. We got a lot coming up on the show. A lot of MCU, a lot of DC stuff, and of course, we're mixing in what we're watching. We hope you're enjoying the program. We got the best fans in the world. We have more and more people coming in each day, and more listeners from around the world, and we hope you see that reflected in fan mail. There's a reason fan mail comes first on this show. It's because without you guys, we'd just be talking to ourselves. So we really appreciate you. This was Season 2, Episode 25. We're about halfway through the year, and we're just getting started, so much more to come. Giggler, any final thoughts for the squad as we sign off for this week?
Man, just probably the same thing I say every week. Thank you for listening to all of this BS that we're saying. Thank you for putting it all together because you do a great job of it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for just continuously showing up. And it's fun seeing this thing evolve, and it's fun seeing how the three of us even evolve, how we talk about our stuff, and the nice mix. So thanks for always coming back. PC Mike, any final words of wisdom for the crew?
Thank you, Scott, for calling in.
Yeah, more people need to do that, please.
No, because he gives us
That
a
was
fresh
great.
look. Because us three are kind of like, I wouldn't say tunnel vision, but we all kind of have the same similarities. And Scott, I'm not gonna lie, I was not gonna watch that show on Netflix. Now I'm probably gonna watch it.
That's so true.
That's what
I agree.
different.
Wasn't going to watch it either.
Yeah, but different views, different mindsets, different ways of looking at things open up our minds and our viewing habits, and we might find something we really love. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. And we get more callers in here. Mike is totally spot on. You know, that you can see when you're passionate about something and you know that something is very good and you know why, this is what this show is all about. We want you to bring that to the forefront. Let us know what it is. Why do you love it? And you could hear us talk about it on the show. It's that easy. All right, guys, another week, another one down, and we'll be back next week. New episodes on Monday. Mondays are mostly, use that hashtag mostly Mondays and reach out to us whenever you get the time. Mostlysuperheroes.com. PC Mike, the Giggler. I'm Logan. We'll see you next week. Take it easy.